Sorry, did that scare you? Well, while you're here, do you want toned legs, a built back, and a strong core? Then you need to start doing this exercise. Hello all my conquerors and greats out there, it's AOM Lifting, back at it again with another video, and today I have a bit of a challenge for you. If you really want to truly build some strength, then you have to start deadlifting. It's a very important step to that goal. So, learn with me today. Let's find out why deadlifting is so good, the proper form so you don't hurt yourself, and the sets and reps you can implement into your exercise today. Okay, right here we have our standard Olympic bar. It's about 45 pounds on itself, and on each side I have a 45 and a 25. So that's the reference weight we're going to be working with today. Now, something that's very useful about the deadlift and why it's so good is the compound muscles that it uses. How I mentioned the abs before, you have to stabilize your entire upper trunk in order to erect yourself when you're pulling. Your shoulders and arms bearing that heavy weight improve quite a lot, as well as your back being able to pull up and your legs bearing all that weight and also driving your body up. So it's a really good all-around exercise. But it does come with quite a lot of risk because of the dangers associated. If you do improper form or you roll your back out, you can really hurt your low back, your knees, a lot of parts. The more moving parts, the more room there is for error. So with that, let's learn how to do it properly. So the first step you're going to want to do is having your feet shoulder length apart with your feet facing forward. Now, this is a good position so that you can still come out low. You can also still drive up without putting any strain on your hips. But it is important to know the flexibility that you're capable of. If you squat down and your toes come up like that, that is very improper form. You won't be able to do this exercise. So what I would recommend is practicing some wide stance squats where you're coming out like that with your feet flat. This is going to be required. So after you find that position that you want where they're about evenly spaced, you're going to come down into a squat, feet laying flat on the floor, and you're going to want to pull in your low back and stick out your butt a little bit. Your whole back should be straight, and you should be brought in just like this. Just like this. So after you found that, you're going to space out your hands evenly, and you're going to pull up all the way and lock out just like this. You're not going to want to lock your knees, but you're going to have to straighten out and pause for about a second at the top. So let's see that put all together. One more time. Now, if all of this seems pretty complicated, then I have a variation that could be very useful to you. Check this out. So, a very good variation for beginners and people who are doing very heavy weights is called the sumo deadlift. So instead of having your feet shoulder length apart about right here, you're going to go a little farther than that. Almost like you're going into the splits, but not quite that far. And you're going to grab the bar in the center. You're still going to be bending your legs, you're still going to have your back pulled in, you're still going to straighten out, but there's going to be a lot less tension and strain on your ankle and your knee joints. So let's see this. Just like that. Now another thing that might help is changing your palm orientation. So normally in a pronated grip, where both of your hands are facing forward, but if you switch one of them around, you can get in some good bicep action and use both arms to pull up that bar more. I know when I was setting my PR, 265 by the way, it really helped out. It's completely built up that number and I couldn't have done it without it. So let's see that. So normally, you have your hands like this, right? So that you flip just the other one over like that, almost like a pull-up. Now it doesn't matter which side you're on, neither one necessarily prevents a benefit, but just go ahead and pick whichever you're more comfortable with. Came up much easier. Now, lastly what I want to talk about is the sets and reps. So standard is about 4 sets of 6 reps with a medium weight. You can also do a 5x5, 5 sets and 5 reps with varying weights or the same medium weight. But there's also pyramids and reverse pyramids. So what the pyramid is you start with a high number like 8 and you do a low weight. And then you go up to 6, do a higher weight, and then 4, an even higher weight. And then the reverse, of course, is the opposite, where you're at 8, and you go down to 6, and then you go down to 4. This is very useful for building up your max and really changing up your muscles so that they don't get used to the same exercise. So, with that being said, go ahead and add this into your workout today. Like and subscribe, and let's train like history's best.